So lately, Adam Brody, right? He's everywhere, isn't he?
And like it.
Like, you can't escape him. Nobody wants this on Netflix. That's what's really got everyone talking.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like it sparked like a whole Adam Brody renaissance.
Totally. And this deep dive, that's what we're looking at. What is it about this specific role that's got everyone going crazy?
Right, because it's more than just liking the show.
Way more.
This is like a whole cultural moment.
Yeah.
Like Brody as Rabbi Noah, it's tapping into something bigger.
Huge. And the article we're diving into today, they just come right out and say it, the ultimate TV crush.
No hesitation.
And honestly, a lot of people seem to agree.
It's everywhere you look online.
But here's the thing that's really interesting. The show itself got kind of mixed reviews.
And it wasn't a runaway hit with, like, the critics or anything.
So what is it about Brody's character that's so captivating?
Part of it, and this is true for a lot of these, like, heartthrob comebacks, is nostalgia. I mean, the guy's been charming us since the OC.
Yeah, totally. Forever.
Like, he's basically the blueprint for that dork with a heart of gold that we all secretly love.
We all have a soft spot for that.
But what makes this different, this role, is that it takes that familiar charm and adds, like, a layer of maturity on top of it.
Okay, yeah, it's like Seth Cohen all grown up.
Exactly.
But instead of this, like, lovesick teenager, he's a successful rabbi, figuring out love and family and all these cultural expectations, it's kind of a lot.
It is. And that leads right into the other big part of his appeal, this whole modern man thing. Like, the article really digs into this, saying that Brody, he kind of represents this new masculinity.
Okay, I was going to say, break that down. What does modern man even mean?
It's tough to pin down.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, he's confident, but he's also vulnerable. He's killing it in his career, but isn't afraid to, talk about his feelings. He's a good guy, principled, but also open-minded. And yeah, like, he's attractive, obviously, but not in a way that's intimidating.
I see what you mean, yeah.
He checks all the boxes, but somehow it feels genuine, not like he's trying too hard.
Not like some kind of rom-com robot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like modern man really means everything we wish our partners were. Like, is that it?
Well, that's the big question, right? Like, are we idealizing this guy?
Projecting a little, maybe?
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really, interesting, because nobody wants this. It's not just about what we want in a partner. It's also about cultural expectation.
Right, like all that stuff is baked right in.
You've got a rabbi falling for someone who's not Jewish.
Yeah.
Like, it's the classic opposites attract, but with this whole other layer on top of it.
Yeah, which the article mentions, but it's mostly focused on how the show actually explores those differences,
Right, like the mechanics of it all.
But it makes you wonder, like, what's going on under the surface?
Totally.
Yeah.
Because even with, like, the best intentions, you can still fall back on stereotypes, right?
It's so easy to do, even accidentally.
Exactly. And the article, it does mention some criticism about how the show portrays Noah's family, his Jewish family. Like, without, getting into the weeds, it does kind of raise that issue of representation, even in a rom-com.
Yeah, because those things matter, even if it's not, super serious.
It's about being aware, I guess.
It's like we can enjoy it, but also acknowledge no show's perfect. And sometimes the stuff we're drawn to can also, reveal blind spots.
Absolutely.
Like, how much of this modern man thing is actually progress and how much is just like expectations we haven't really thought about.
It's so true. It's so easy to get caught up in the nice guy trope, but like, what happens when you dig a little deeper?
Right. Is nice always actually nice?
Exactly. Like, does Rabbi Noah's niceness, does it ever come at a cost? Are we, like, so busy swooning over, I don't know, the hand cradles and whatever, that we miss those moments where it's not so simple,
Ooh, I see what you mean.
Like, where those power dynamics are playing out in ways that are harder to see.
So we're basically saying even the nice guy, right? Like, even that can be kind of a smokescreen.
It's true. Like, charm can be a way to kind of obscure those power dynamics, make them harder to see.
Which is a little bit scary when you think about it.
It is, but it's also, like you said, brilliant, because it makes you think about these rom-com tropes in a whole new way.
Totally. It's like we've unlocked, like, a secret level of analysis.
Exactly, and that's what makes this stuff so fascinating.
It's like what you were saying earlier about these unspoken fantasies that we bring to these kinds of stories.
Oh, absolutely. And those fantasies, they're not always straightforward. You know, like on the surface, it's about finding love, finding connection, but there's all these other layers, like the desire for validation, for a sense of belonging. It gets complicated.
It does. And in this case, like with nobody wants this, the rabbi and the, non-Jewish woman, we have to ask ourselves, like, what is it about that dynamic that's really resonating? Is it challenging stereotypes or just reinforcing them in a sneaky way?
Such a good question.
It's a lot. It makes you think about how much we project onto these characters, our own, like, ideal versions of love. It's easy to get swept up in it.
Totally. We want to
Yeah.
believe, right, even if it means maybe not looking too closely at the details.
Exactly.
But that's okay. It's not about, like, ruining the fun or anything. It's just about, like you said, being aware.
Having your eyes open.
Exactly. Being aware of those blind spots, thinking about them, and then, like, engaging with the material on a deeper level.
So it's not don't watch rom-coms, it's watch rom-coms with your brain turned on.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Like, enjoy the ride, the escapism, all the tropes, but also be open to the idea that there might be more going on under the surface.
Because there always is, right?
Always. And, like, honestly, those are the most rewarding experiences, the ones that make you think. When we can step back and analyze those fantasies, the tropes, the power dynamics, that's how we learn, not just about the show, but about ourselves, about the world.
It's so true. This deep dive, like, my mind is blown.
Glad to hear it.
Seriously, I kind of want to go rewatch Nobody Wants This right now, just to, see it with fresh eyes.
That's what we like to hear.
And I guess even if Adam Brody isn't, like, actually the perfect modern man, I mean, who is?
Right. Nobody's perfect.
But just the fact that we're having this conversation, that's got to mean something good, right?
It does. It means we're asking more from our entertainment, maybe even from ourselves. That's how we grow.
Exactly.
It's about asking the right questions. And on that note, I've got one for you and for all our listeners to kind of chew on. What would a truly revolutionary modern man in a rom-com actually look like? One that challenges, like, everything. Not just our ideas about romantic partners, but, like, societal norms. The whole shebang.
Okay, that is a good one. A lot to think about there. Listeners, I want you to really sit with that. And we will be back next time, ready to dive into a whole new set of pop culture puzzles. Until then, happy watching, and don't forget to think critically.